Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Story Archives. I am your host, Mario Busto, alongside
the other host, Zachary Newton. Welcome back.
We are back with episode 5 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, titled In the Name of the Mother. Is that the title of this episode?
That is the title of this episode.
I feel like that's a bit lackluster.
I mean, there were some throwaway lines in the episode, you know, for what so Penny, Arlan, whatever, saying, in the name of the mother, get your hands off that boy, right? Saving young Dunk. So, I don't know. I feel like the name makes sense. I feel like it works.
I don't know. It should have just been Get Up. Or the Dragon of Ashford Meadows. That would have been hard right there. I feel like the name of this episode should have been, I mean, that technically, I guess it could be applied to Baylor, but yeah, it feels a little lackluster in the titling of the episode.
You think? I mean, I feel like if you were going to watch this episode back, In the Name of the Mother sounds more interesting than Get Up. I mean,
yeah,
like
Get Up would not be it. That was
Get Up isn't very interesting. Like, I mean,
not my best work.
It's not Battle of the Bastards, you know.
That's a good one. The Reigns of Castamere. I mean,
yeah,
those are some. So. You know, I found it surprising that the Reigns of Castamere supposedly was a very highly rated episode of Game of Thrones. Now, it was good. Like, the Reigns of Castamere is the essence of Game of Thrones in some sense. It's honorable characters. It's like what Baylor said to Egg, right? Or what he said to Dunk. One need not intend harm to cause harm, or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. One may not mean harm to cause harm, which is kind of one of the overlying themes in the entire Game of Thrones universe, which is, you know, there is morality, there's honor, there's courage in this world, but certain actions can cause bad things to happen to good people, similar to things in our world, you know? So, yeah, Baylor, well, you know, I knew this was coming from the beginning of the season, that Baylor was going to die in this battle. What was your initial reaction? You know, how are you feeling? Are you mourning? I know it's President's Day. Did you take it off from work in the fetal position all day? Like, what was your reaction to this? I think the world is still healing from this traumatic event.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear. This is clearly like one of the worst episodes of like the Game of Thrones universe stuff that I've seen. It was. I'm just kidding. This was my favorite episode.
I was like, damn.
No, this is my favorite. This is incredible. I think this episode took Night of the Seven Kingdoms, you know, up to that Game of Thrones level that we're used to with some of like the peak episodes. But it was so well done, and I'm surprised at how, I guess, interested I was in it, knowing that it was such a short episode. Like, I think they really did every minute in this thing justice. So I was excited about that. You know, I'm sad. Yeah, Baylor's, you know, missing the back half of his head. So I'm interested to see, you know, how like the politics of this are going to play out. You know, so what was he like first in line, you know, for the throne?
He was heir to the throne.
Yeah, so that's very interesting.
So now that passes to Maekar. I don't usually watch what's on the next episode, like the little previews. So I'm assuming Maekar survived. There's only one other thing I know that's supposed to happen after this, and then I'm pretty much on par with everyone else in terms of my knowledge. I'm no longer looking down from, you know, that meme of like where the butter looks down and everybody else in the fridge has his little special compartment. You know, I feel like I've been in that little butter compartment all season, just looking down, like, wait till Zach sees that Egg is a prince. Wait till Zach sees that Baylor's gonna fight for this guy. Wait till Zach sees that. You know, and now we're just about even, minus one thing that's kind of obvious that's going to happen. But yeah, Maekar should technically be next in line, and God forbid he died. That means Arian, I guess, would be no. Would it be Arian? I don't know if Arian is younger or older than the drunk brother and the other brother, Daemon.
I don't know. I don't know their ages. I don't know the full succession order.
We don't know much of anything right now. We don't know who died in this battle for the most part.
I don't know if Maekar's dead. Like, I didn't really see much of what happened to any of them.
Well, you know, there was a moment The battle was chaotic. I thought it was going to be
Very.
it was a large set piece, but it also felt under budget on the set piece in the sense that a lot of the action was in the background. And there you do have to pay attention to some of the key things that happen. Like there's a moment where Raymun Fossay saves Dunk. He essentially gets Arian off of him, right? And then there's another moment where you see Baylor fighting behind Dunk, I believe, and he gets hit in the face or in the back of the head with a mace. And that's the moment, seemingly, that he gets hit in the head. And I do love when shows and movies do that, where there's a very crucial action that happened right in front of your eyes, but because you're paying attention of what's in the foreground, you're not looking at what's going on in the background. And I do like when they do that, and it's really well thought out. What a send-off for Baylor. I don't think there's ever been a character in such a short period of time that left such an impact on global viewers of this show. I think from the sentiment I've seen online, and speaking for myself, because I consider the sentiment I feel as a fan of the show to also reflect what other people think sometimes in if they like the show, he instantly becomes one of the most likable characters of all time in the Game of Thrones universe, in my book, personally.
Yeah. It kind of makes you sad that he's not going to become king, because I feel like the Targaryen, are we calling it like a Targaryen dynasty? Is that what we call it?
I would think
feel like
that.
it would have
I think
done
it's
very
deserved
well
after
under
a few
his
thousand
rule.
years.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I mean,
What
you
an
figure
episode,
if he
though.
would have been king, some of the stuff that happens in what would have been his lifetime or leading up to his death, perhaps you never get Baratheon taking over to start Game of Thrones. Perhaps the Game of Thrones it's pushed back a bit, right?
Yeah.
Then again, that prophecy, at least the way House of the Dragon made us believe it, the prince that was promised prophecy supposedly is bigger than that. So all of this, in the kind of surreal realism or, the magical realism that they inject into the shows sometimes, this was supposed to happen, I guess, to lead to all of the Azor Ahai type prophecies. But yeah, we don't really know who survived besides Raymun and Arian, who me and my dad watching the show were like, kill him, kill him. We were like, hey, kill him.
Yeah.
Don't spare him. Just kill him.
I was very surprised Arian didn't die. I mean, the guy caught a sword to the groin.
I'm very angry at
that should have just cut his artery right there.
Yeah, I'm very angry at the fact that Baylor dies and Arian survives. I did not remember whether he lived or died, but then as I saw Dunk dragging him by his legs to which is so realistic, right? I feel like any unrealistic medieval type of battle or show would have immediately ceased the thing, right? This is like they don't know what's going on the battlefield. There's not like this omnipotent knowledge of what's occurring on the battlefield. He whispered, "I yield." He didn't say it loud, so he needed to literally drag him up there to say it, right?
And he still didn't want to say it either. Like,
he was trying to like almost hold out as long as possible, realizing that this honorable knight was not going to kill him, right? If he was going to kill him, he would have already bashed his head in with that shield.
Yeah.
Right? Can you rewind a bit here before this thing take us to like while he's kind of having his fight or flight moment? We start this battle, which I heard that they had like budgetary issues, so that they loaded the field with fog. So kudos to them, because it really did look like a grade A set piece, like the actual setting and the chaos of it, the fog of war, so to speak, that you can't. I mean, there's a confusion. You're watching this and you're somewhat a little bit scared for Dunk that he's gonna get killed, because he's not just fighting Arian, but you don't know what the hell's going on behind him, because it felt like we were so tight on him. Not to mention the way that they conducted the fights in this particular battle kind of flies in the face of how they've done it in the rest of Game of Thrones for the most part. I've seen memes about this online, but I thought about it because I played the game Kingdom Come Deliverance. The battle, like the combat in that game, is super clunky. When you swing a sword with heavy armor, it's not fast. It's slow. It's like very methodical. It's like the way Dunk is just swinging that thing, and it feels very robotic, not graceful at all. And that probably would have been how fighting with that kind of armor on was like back then.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing. It's got to be at least 80 pounds of armor or something.
For sure, 60 to 80 pounds, maybe more. You have limited visibility. Think about it.
Which, by the way, I loved that we actually kind of got the perspective from Dunk, like literally inside of his helmet. Because like every time I think about knights fighting like this, I'm like, dude, if I had to freaking wear a helmet like that, look out these tiny little visor holes or whatever, you're not gonna know what the hell's going on. And it's so true. Like you literally, you almost had no idea what's going on. Like you get like a glimpse of what's right about to happen.
Yeah,
and it's too late for you to do much of anything about it.
Yeah, and by the way, he got his ass beat like the whole time to the point where I'm like, come on, dude, nobody survives that. He got hit with a mace twice in the face. He got stabbed in the eye. He got stabbed in the stomach. I think he got stabbed in the leg.
He starts out
getting knocked off his horse.
Not even getting knocked off his horse. Dunk starts out this fight getting impaled in the stomach.
Yeah,
I thought he was like, for a moment there, I was like, dude, there's no way.
I'm assuming the chainmail saved his life, and that's the only explanation there.
I mean, it still pierced through to his skin.
For sure.
He was bleeding
for
out.
Sure.
Like it was
he literally pulled it out of his stomach.
It was stuck in, like a half a foot in.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You forget mace or whatever. Like, you got a rod sticking a half a foot into your stomach.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not dead right now. But yeah, dude took that to the stomach. He got hit in the face twice, at least.
I thought he was going to lose his eye. I don't know if he does lose his eye or not, but
I don't think he's going to lose. I feel like it'd be too weird. You got Robert Riesling?
Yeah.
With his eye patch. I don't think we're going to have Dunk with an eye patch.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets stabbed in the leg too. And then through the hand. The dagger through their hand.
Oh, that's right. We forgot about that one. That's crazy. Ooh. So in his lifetime that we know of Dunk's injury so far, he got a knife to the knee, not the knee, the back of his calf in that flashback fight we see later.
Straight through it, yeah.
And then God knows how many injuries he sustained in this battle. He's going to have to heal for months after this battle, for sure. You're not fighting in the tournament. I don't even know if the tournament continues after Baylor died.
Well, I don't know that
Dude,
I don't see why the tournament... No. I was going to say, I don't see why the tournament would stop, but I don't see there being a need for Dunk to fight in the tournament. I feel like... I'm very curious to see if Dunk becomes a knight for the Targaryen house.
I don't know. I mean,
that's what was about to happen with him and Baylor.
Yes, it was, but is Maekar going to take accountability for himself and his own kin causing this crap? Or is he going to say, this is his fault? My brother had to fight for you. Is he going to do that sort of pointing finger thing and then push Dunk further away? That would be my bet of what he does, not the opposite.
It could be like Maekar's way of kind of honoring his brother, right? Like it was like there's a clear reason why you went out there and fought for him, and if they all believe in their religion, well, Dunk is innocent anyways. So
I think there
is a scenario where I could see Maekar following through on what Baylor did, and maybe Baylor's not dead yet. Like maybe he there's like a little bit
dead.
of him at the beginning.
He's dead as hell, bro. He's dead as hell.
There could be a little bit of him at the beginning of the next episode. I'm not saying he's living.
Baylor?
Baylor, there's no way Baylor is living, but there's a possibility we get a little bit of him at the very beginning of the next episode. I'm going
to just tell you this right now. He's dead. He is dead.
I'm saying he's going to die. I just don't know if he's dead right this very second.
I'm telling you, he is dead this second.
He didn't die on screen yet. Yes, he's missing half of his head. But have you seen King Viserys' face?
I'm just telling you, he's dead. But anyways, that's just what it is.
We'll see what happens.
You're still in the denial phase of...
It's not. Look, I'm just saying.
I remember re-listening to this in the book.
Follows through with Baylor's wish, or what he was going to do at least.
By the way, you should read the transcript of the book and how closely the show stuck to it. When you're listening or reading this book, you are going. It's with that John Bernthal. No, wait. It's that. It's like the grief. You already know what's about to happen. The reaction is similar. The way he says my visor's cracked. These various things. Man, What a heartbreaking way to go. And they set you up for the biggest punch in the gut. You think everyone survived the battle, Duncan survived, everything's going to be okay. But you get reminded, wait a minute, it's Game of Thrones. That's the thing about Game of Thrones. You don't leave a major moment like this without feeling some sort of loss. You're going to.
You don't leave hardly any moment in Game of Thrones without feeling some sort of loss.
Oh, I knew the moment that I saw that little girl in his flashback that she was going to get her throat cut. Not because I remembered it from the story, but because I couldn't imagine Dunk leaving her. So I just said out loud, like, I'm assuming when this girl dies is when he goes and meets up with Arlan of Pennytree.
Yeah.
But, I had a grave concern as I watched this episode, and I'm sure it might have crossed your mind too.
Mm-hmm.
All of this week and a half wait for this episode, and they hit us with a flashback like 2 minutes into the episode.
You called it though. I feel like in the last podcast, you were like, "Don't be surprised if you get a flashback in the next episode," and they did. I was disappointed for like the first 2 to 3 minutes of that flashback. I was like, "Brick, really?"
I don't remember saying that. I thought it was you who was scared about this whole episode possibly being a flashback, but I don't remember.
I feel like if I had to put money on it, I would say that you said don't be surprised if there's a flashback.
Well, I didn't say it because I had any idea from the book on that one. Look, dude, as it kept on going on and on, the flashback, I was like, please, right now I don't care about this flashback moment. And I was even talking to my friend on the phone today, and I said, I dare say, because I do like to put myself in the position of the showrunner, like the writers and stuff like that. I dare say that you could have served the whole point of that flashback with the same amount of impact that it had by starting the flashback with a tracking shot, maybe a shot of Sir Arlan kind of wandering drunk through the hills, right, on his horse, and then a shot of the kid Dunk, with a knife wound. You start low on his leg, and you show the knife wound in his leg first. And you immediately establish the fact that here's a wounded kid. We don't know why he's wounded. We can get that story later on in the series, right? He's following this drunken knight, and he's trying not to be seen. He's kind of wandering, following him for a few days. And then you see him getting sicker and sicker and giving into his wounds over time, right? And then it ends with the get up. I think it would have had the same amount of impact as showing the full thing, and you could have had more time on the actual battle. Maybe like 5 more minutes in the battle, so to speak. I think it would have the same impact, and then maybe give us a little bit more after, like the Baylor passes away thing. Give us a little bit more of the after there.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't feel like I needed more of the battle.
I felt I needed more. I felt like because we only saw Dunk.
This is your bloodlust coming out. This is your egg right here.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I was pretty satisfied with the battle, and I was fine with the focus on Dunk, because this is very much a story about Dunk and Egg, not everybody else in the Seven Kingdoms. So I was okay with that, and I don't know, like I was disappointed that there was a flashback because I was so ready to go. I was like, oh shit, are we gonna get like 20 minutes of just a fight scene up front at the beginning of this episode? And then the flashback came. Then I was a little nervous. I'm like, dude, they better not drag this fight out somehow to like the next episode with the cliffhanger in the middle of the battle. Like that would piss me off. But I feel like they executed it well. I loved the transition back into the battle with the whole get up thing. And I do feel that seeing the bit of I keep wanting to say Pennyworth, like Alfred Pennyworth from Batman, but Sir Arlan of Pennytree. I like that we got to see him actually defend somebody that was innocent, seemingly. Dunk, and I mean, he missed the girl. Whoops.
Rafe.
But I liked that. Yeah, I liked that. That we got to see that little bit of him to kind of know, like, okay, he's a drunk, but he's an honorable guy. At least,
Which, by the way,
seems to be.
Goes against what you said earlier. Earlier in the season, I was saying that he was a good guy. Like, he was an honorable guy. He just was a flawed honorable guy. Like, he did teach him how to be an honorable knight. Dunk. And you were like, no, I don't know. And I was like, he was. I I look, man. I liked a few things. I love the shot of King's Landing in the background when they're looting the battlefield. I thought that was sick. I actually think that this is kind of an Easter egg towards something we're going to get in season 2, based on some interviews I've seen. And I loved the Flea Bottom, sort of establishing Flea Bottom and the little world of Flea Bottom and the little place that they lived in. They had to kind of go down through a little crawl space door and things like that.
World. Yeah.
Huh?
Horrendous world. Terrible.
But it was interesting. Like, it was a charming sort of little, I don't know. I felt like I was in, when you see Harry Potter's room, it's under the stairs. Like, I felt like I was getting a bit of that, but with a bit of the darkness of Game of Thrones. And by a bit, I mean a lot. But anyways, I was pretty nervous because I saw the runtime was 35 minutes. It felt like that flashback took 20 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, are they really going to do this to us? Like, are we going to end this episode with him just waking up? Because we know he's not going to die, right? At least not now. He's not going to die. I think you were pretty confident that he wasn't going to die in this battle.
I was worried. I was severely worried at the start of it, especially after he was impaled in the first 10 seconds of the battle. But then, logic sank in, and I'm like, there's no way he's going to die. Like, it's literally a story about it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I dare say he would have had his leg chopped off from that knife wound that he was wandering around with as a kid. The whole time I'm thinking to myself,
how did that not get infected? I was wondering that too. Yeah. I was shocked that thing was not just like a festering wound.
Yeah, or that he doesn't have a limp for the rest of his life from that.
That too. Yeah, right in that. Oh God,
right in your calf muscle. Right in your calf. Imagine a knife right in between your calf.
Nasty. And I feel like saying knife, you're not really giving it justice, bro. Spear. That thing was more like a spear.
Yeah,
that was
probably it's not like it's a clean tipped spear. That thing's probably been in mud
with
shit
rats running through it,
all sorts of stuff.
Rats and blood from
the feces tipped.
You saw the
spear,
the wounded people getting like their wounds cauterized and everything.
Yeah,
right there on the street with rats on their face.
Nasty, nasty world of Flea Bottom. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has countlessly said, I don't know how many times he's like, man, can you imagine living back then? And I keep telling him, you wouldn't know any better. This would be your world. He said, you imagine how bad that place smelled? And I said, you wouldn't know. I'm assuming you wouldn't know. If you were that poor back then,
you're just used to it. This is just what life is like.
Exactly. Which is kind of a blessing in and of itself, like that ignorance blessing that you have no idea that there's possibility of better.
Yeah.
To know that everything smells like this crap. But let's continue our conversation here. I would have liked a little bit more of the battle in the sense of I wanted to see Lionel Baratheon fighting. I wanted to see Maekar and Baelor fighting a little bit. I wanted to see Raymun facing off against Stefan. Maybe we'll get flashbacks of the battle and like little things like that, next episode, like just quick, like little snippets. But they should have had ESPN back then, like Sports Center. Top 10 Baylor versus Maekar. He takes a mace to the back of the head. Ooh, it's crushed.
So yeah. I don't know that we would get flashbacks to the battle. I don't feel like I ever remember Game of Thrones having. I know the kind of flashback you're talking about, where she's like really
PTSD.
Quick,
it would be PTSD type
like
flashbacks. Yeah.
Like I got more familiar with things like that in like World War II movies and whatnot. I just don't see that necessarily happening here. And even if we did, I feel like it would be from Dunk's perspective. But also to the point of what you were saying, you wish you got more of like Maekar versus Baylor and all of these other individuals fighting. I'm glad we didn't, though, because I feel like you'd be disappointed because you're expecting some resolution in every combo, every pair that you're seeing fight.
We at least
got a resolution with Dunk and Brightflame.
Yeah, I just wanted one with, like, I was really interested in the Raymun and Stefan dynamic.
Yeah.
And I was very interested to see Lionel fight, to actually see if he could, like, how good of a fighter he is,
Yeah.
That's really what I wanted to see. I wasn't even so much interested as Baylor as a fighter. I always thought he was more of a decoy, as he says, that the Kingsguard's not supposed to touch him. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing there is, why the hell would you be fighting your brother? Why is Maekar actually, like, if Maekar actually cares about him, why are you fighting him? If anything, you go after Baratheon, you go after the others, and you don't fight each other. Like, you don't harm your own kin. because at the end of the day, the battle will be decided. It's almost like when two dudes get in a fight, even though nowadays, like, I feel like you don't, like, back in the day, people will fight and it would just be you versus one person, you know, in school. And then now it's like turned into like 1 versus 4.
Jumped,
yeah, it's just not clean, honorable fighting, right? Or you're scared, you know, somebody's gonna bring something to the thing. You would have felt like a situation like this fight should have been everyone stand down, Duncan fights Arian, and everyone leaves them alone, which is essentially what happened. If you think about it, anybody could have rode right past Dunk and stabbed him in the neck while he was unconscious for probably, who knows, maybe even if it was 15 seconds. Somebody could have passed by on a horse and just whoosh. The end. The gods decided Arian was right, you know, but no, it seemed everybody focused on their one-on-one little skirmish. And not to mention, when Raymun gets Arian off of him, he gets knocked the hell out by, I think, Stefan, like directly after. If you want to rewind it and show the moment.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So they should have gave us a little bit there, man. Instead of the flashback, take us to a few things. And now it makes me think, like, which battles in Game of Thrones did give us, like, super long battles. And I can think of, like, 3 off the top of my head, but...
Battle of the Bastards is the one I remember. Like, that's
the King's Landing battle, where they have the
one too.
Tyrion,
That's true, too. With the...
that was, like, the 2 towers of Game of Thrones, really. That was the literal Tyrion with the speech to everybody. That was a great one. That was probably the best one. Actually, no, the Battle of the Bastards was the best one, for sure. The Battle of Winterfell, that supposedly happened, but it was in the dark, so I didn't see much.
I know you hate on that one.
I hate that whole season. I'll never apologize for that.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that
season. Was dog water.
Yeah,
dog water, bro.
It's the ending was the most disappointing thing. It makes
the ending's okay.
I agree.
Ending's okay. It would have been okay if she was losing her mind for 2 seasons.
What did we talk? What are we talking about? Who?
Daenerys.
I wasn't talking about Daenerys. I was talking about Arya.
That was. I mean, yeah. Like the prince that was promised.
Yeah. It literally, like.
What was the meme I sent you the other day?
Is the prophecy not fulfilled? By the way,
you should put that meme up on screen when we get to the edit that I sent you the other day. Of forget what it said on Twitter. It was
what it was.
It was it was the red lady. Okay, it was the red priestess, and it's Jon Snow. And on the top, Jon Snow says, "Why did the Lord of Light bring me back to life?" And then the red priestess says, "Your little sister's gonna kill the Night King, and it'll be a lot. It'll mean a lot to her if you showed up."
So, but that means the prophecy's not fulfilled, right?
That would be the greatest imaginable scenario here. That everybody thought that they were talking about this moment in history, and they had nothing to do with it, and they write another series, and we actually get an actual thing. But that's a little bit too naive, in my opinion. So yeah. I don't know if you're as familiar with it because you kind of more recent to the universe, but they've made countless memes of the double Ds. That's what they call them on the bald move, Dan and Dave.
Yeah.
When they talk about the Iron Fleet or whatever, the Greyjoy's fleet, and then they just say, "We kind of forgot." That's kind of like the thing that they hit them with, like a video of all the plot holes, and it's just them saying repeatedly, "Well, we kind of forgot." You know, what a hell of a thing to say. Similar to Ira Parker admitting that the blacksmith guy, I think his name is Steely Pate or whatever, that they wanted to include a line, but they forgot. Like, where's your line producer, dude? Like, where is that person? Script supervisor, please. But that's got to be such a high intense. I mean, they've done such a great job with this show. That's got to be such an intense, high stakes set. You know, every take must. I would love to know the number of how much each take costs. You know, in terms of man hours and labor and resetting and all that stuff.
I'm surprised that you're saying this was like one of their budget episodes. They were having budget issues with this, because to me this didn't feel like a budget episode.
It wasn't their budget episode. It's that they don't have the budget that Game of Thrones had. Game of Thrones was operating with. I mean, we could look it up later. But Game of Thrones was operating with a much larger per episode budget.
Well, keep in mind, these episodes are half as long.
Yeah, but still, I would venture to say that this, I'm assuming, has to be much less than what Game of Thrones. Which is a little bit odd, right? Because you know this is going to be pretty much a guaranteed moneymaker show. I don't know if the Aegon's Conquest show that they want to do is such a guaranteed hit. I think that one might be a tougher pill to swallow. And not as exciting as this, but I could be wrong.
Why do you say that?
Because it's like the Spaniards conquering South America with like 15 guys. You know what I mean? Because they got superior tech and they just brought like diseases over from Europe. Like it's like that, bro. It's like showing up, to pre-colonial America with machine guns and saying, "What's up, Indians? Like, want to fight?" That's what it is. You're literally showing up with a freaking, B-2 bomber, like a fleet of these things coming across. I'm assuming that battle didn't take very long,
I don't know. I mean, the natives can be very well built into that land. So,
brother, what is this, woke hour? What is this, like woke? We're taking a dragon over their lands.
Bro, I know that, but I don't know how many people were here. It
doesn't
can still
matter.
Be interesting.
One side has dragons.
There's sorcery. There's magic and shit. It's more than just like dragons fighting some. I don't even know. Just people in a field waiting to be flamed.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It wasn't. They weren't fighting the Night King. They weren't fighting magical people.
But the Night King existed at that time, did they not? Or was it
no?
After that?
No. You gotta do your own research off here. Aegon's conquest was not in a time where anybody could reasonably stand up to him.
Okay. I still think it would be interesting because you hear about it.
It would be fun, but I just don't think it'd work as a series. I think it'd have to be a movie. It'd have to be
movie would be dope. I think it'd be really cool to see like a Game of Thrones, movie.
Yeah.
I'm doing a little bit of digging right now on the budgets for Game of Thrones, like per episode, and the budget for A Night of the Seven Kingdom. Now, keep in mind, some of this is from Google's like AI overviews based on the results. So there's some maybe incorrect data in here, but it says the Game of Thrones per episode budgets ranged from 5 to 6 million per episode in season 1.
Yeah, season 1,
and then grew to be around 10 million. By season 6 and 15 million per episode by season 8.
My bet is that they're doing 5 to 6 million per episode for this show. If I had to guess,
here's what I'm seeing for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It says it's produced with a leaner, more focused budget, estimated to be under 10 million per episode, with some reports suggesting as low as 6 million per episode, which is right on. It's actually more than Game of Thrones was first season.
But Game of Thrones was unproven. Of course, they're going to come in.
Correct.
They're going to come in. Think about it.
But that budget is close, though. Is my point.
You go back and watch season 1 and think about like how leanly they did things. Not to mention one of the things that they're doing here. You don't ever see them cast an A-list actor like that. Everybody knows that comes with a much bigger wage bill. So everybody here is pretty much not necessarily completely unknown. They kind of mix the cast with somewhat unknown and more known actors like in there. Like you got your veteran actors, but not superstar name or like branded to be such.
I like that they don't cast a bunch of A-list actors.
Of course, yeah, me too.
Because I love, what is it, Matthew Smith?
He's probably the closest to the biggest name that they ever cast, by the way. If I had to guess, like Matt Smith, yeah, is the closest. He's got to be the biggest name that they ever.
But they've also
I might be tripping. There's got to be one more that I'm blanking on. Sean Bean, obviously, who played Ned Stark. He was already a big actor prior to the show, but
I mean, I feel like Matt Smith is probably the most expensive. But there's also Olivia Cook, she's not like an A-lister necessarily, but she's become pretty popular. I like when shows like this, bring people on that, like they make the stars. They're not bringing people on because they're a big face, a big name. A lot of times it takes me out of the movie.
It can.
Or show. Like it can just become distracting.
I prefer it that way too. Like, you give a chance. But like Birdie Cavill, I think that's his name. What's the name of Baylor? It's Birdie something. Birdie Cavell.
Of Baylor. Yeah, Birdie Carvel.
He's so good in this role, it makes me want to watch his whole filmography. I got to go look it up and see everything he's been in. But he was incredible. And I was listening to like just the way he breaks down his character's motives and whatnot in the scenes, and the dialogue and the double meaning in the dialogue and what the character's thinking when he delivers his lines. He's really incredible. Like, he has a presence about him as an actor that that kind of left me with a similar feeling of when I was telling that story on the podcast when I watched The Hustler, and I saw what's his name, when I saw
Paul Newman.
no, Paul Newman's a given.
George C. Scott.
When I saw George C. Scott playing his role in The Hustler, that I was like, who is this, and why do I know him from somewhere? And then it just led me down a rabbit hole of watching his stuff. But yeah, that's where I was at. So,
but before we move on, though, I've got to, because I've been looking up the budgets. I just looked up the per episode budget for House of the Dragon. You want to guess what that was?
I'm assuming bigger because of the effects.
Just under 20 million per episode.
Yeah, bigger actors too, I think.
Yeah,
for that.
I mean, agree. I mean, more people I know at the very
Is that
least.
season 2 budget or season 1 budget?
That was season 1 budget.
It's a lot of dragons, bro. A lot of dragons, I'm assuming, mean a lot of money.
200 million for that first season.
More dragons, more money. That can't be cheap. I'm assuming those big rooms with the blue walls everywhere. There was a lot of people cheering on this episode because of the amount of practical effects. And that you don't need CGI necessarily to make.
I was really invested into this episode. This is great. This is
sequence.
It's funny because when we started out this, I never thought Night of the Seven Kingdoms was gonna get to this level. Like not like this. I thought it was just gonna be one of those like more like lighthearted. Yeah, it's funny. You know, I'm kind of into it. You know, it's okay if I miss an episode. The first episode was funny, and then from there it just got more intense, and then we get to this and it's just like, what the hell happened? Like, I thought I was watching something that was funny. This is like the most serious episode I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
high stakes, man.
Yeah, it's good television. It's really good. Yeah, I have a hot take. It's kind of a hot take. Maybe it's a medium take.
Okay.
You're seeing all of these episodes getting rated near perfect 10s on the rating websites, which you can look, I'll be honest, I roll my eyes at a lot of the reviews from some famous sites and wonder about certain, like, some movies that they're rating high and some that they're rating low. Sus. But the ratings on these episodes have been in the 9s. I think this last one was 9.9 across the board. Like, I think they averaged it out. And I don't think that is necessarily deserving to be that high. I think what it's really showing is the hunger that people had for the old Game of Thrones, right? Like, is it true that this is a fantastic show? I'm not taking away from it. But a 10 is literal perfection. Like 10 is 9.9 is saying that this show was like one mistake away from perfection, this episode. And I gotta say, it's damn close. It's hidden peak Game of Thrones vibes, but I think it just shows the hunger that there is to get back to those peak days and just how disappointed people were with the final seasons of GOT and I think the second season of House of the Dragon. So I think if they're already filming, I'm assuming they might be either about to wrap season 3 of House of the Dragon or already in post-production. I don't know how much they can change to what they've done.
They wrapped filming in October of last year.
So I don't know how much they, like, consumer research they would have had. I feel like common sense would have said that the response to season 2 needed something like this. You need to get back to this type of story, like the way the story is being told now. This is what people want it to be. Yeah, so I don't even know necessarily if it's deserving of 9.9s and stuff. I think it's more reflective of what people are desiring in their programming.
I think that's a fair assessment, right? I mean, like, this episode really strikes a nerve with anybody who's watched Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, I don't know if you'd feel as passionate about this episode as everybody else does.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm not saying it's not good. It is good. but I don't think you would have that just like, I don't know, man. Like it's like this nostalgic feeling watching this episode, because it does very much feel like all of the good things, the great things that we're familiar with from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Shout out to Egg in this episode. Fantastic the whole time. Shout out to the redheaded whore as well, who cheered for Dunk out of nowhere. I appreciated that loyalty. Maybe Dunk will get some before he leaves the tourney. A little bit of advanced healing.
I don't think he could get it up at this point.
His wounds. I can tell you who can't get it up right now is Arian with that knife he took to the groin.
I still don't know if Arian is going to... I mean, I'm assuming he's going to live, but like that... I thought he was about to bleed out in the next 30 seconds when that happened, dude.
Are you expecting any character arc changes, some redemption for Arian Brightflame here after surviving this, or straight back to Joffrey vibes?
I think he's just going to be a douchebag forever until somebody kills him.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I love the beginning with Egg, and Dunk has this fear moment where everyone's taking off around him and he's just like freaking out, and Egg is saying, it's taking you back to when he was training the horse like 2 episodes ago. So,
yeah.
He's telling the horse to go.
Yeah, he was telling the horse to go to shake Dunk out of it. He wasn't telling Dunk to go.
Well, sometimes you need to sometimes you need to just get moving to get out of a thing.
For real, bro.
You know, am I preaching to someone out there? Sometimes you gotta move. You know, that's what Dunk. The moment he felt the horse move a little bit, then he kind of spurred it. You know, but you gotta get moving
at that point. Yeah,
right. Yeah, 100%. To shame Tansel Too Tall didn't get to watch Dunk's performance because that was some Rocky type stuff, man. Down for the count. Literal has a freaking character flashback to get up. Arlan from the grave is telling him to get up. Then he passed out again, and Egg is the new Arlan, and he's saying, get up. Right? Yeah. Then he does get up after seemingly having won the fight. He kind of collapses in the mud and gets up, and Arian is just like,
Dunk had me like on the edge of my seat in this episode. I was like, bro, are you good? Like, you didn't die, but if you pass out, I mean, you lose, and therefore you're guilty. So there was that.
By the way, shout out the acting. This guy is not like somebody who's a really trained actor.
Dunk?
The performance of Dunk after being that hurt was fantastic.
He was good.
Peter Claffey, dude.
No, he did a great job.
Round of applause.
He did a great job. A word to the wise for any women in this universe: don't date Dunk. Don't like Dunk.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I was thinking
your throat slit, get your finger, bro. Have to leave your job and everything else. Not good.
Pretty much, if you're dating Dunk, you're either gonna die or get something cut off or cut.
You might want to die. I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah. I have heard. I can't even say the rumors that I've heard, but damn, can I say them? It's not a spoiler because I don't know if they're true. There's rumors. This might be spoilery.
All right, skip 2 minutes if you don't want to hear something that could or could not be a spoiler.
I have heard that it's potentially possible that Dunk is the ancestor of Brienne of Tarth.
I told you that.
You told me that?
I told you that, yeah. I think I said that on air.
Maybe this horse
or maybe I didn't input. Now you're like, it's probably not real.
Yeah, we've gotten too many fake. I've gotten too many fake 007 casting newses from you,
bro. I've given you like maybe one. I don't think I've given you any like concrete ones. I've heard that Dunk was related or could be related in some ancestor of Brienne of Tarth like multiple times from different people. I have no idea. I don't know how anybody would prove that. I mean, I guess if it's in the books, you can.
Ancestry.com.
But yeah, right.
Yeah,
that'd be wild. I wish I could just buy like maps of Westeros and
put them on in your office.
Like, family tree. No, just to have it to like observe. Where is everything? Who belongs to who?
You should just put a fake ancestry of you behind you in Westeros, and then when you are on like a Zoom call, people will be like, "What's that?" "Oh, that's my ancestry." Like, "Where are you from?" "Oh, Northern Europe."
I was born in Westeros.
Yeah. So we end the episode. Baelor's dead. Dunk is crying over his body. Everybody's mourning him pretty much. Very formative moment for Egg as well. He has a lot of bad male examples in his family. And Baylor, that shot of Egg looking up to his uncle in the previous episode sticks with me.
It does. It's like losing a father. I feel like Baylor was more of a father than Maekar.
Maybe not more of a father, but more of a positive role
figure.
model. Yeah.
Fair.
And it'll be interesting to see. I know Baylor has a son named Valar, and he's an honorable guy as well, like Baylor.
Wouldn't Valar be first in line to the throne then?
Well, no, he would
Are you
not.
sure?
Yes, because currently on the throne right now is the father of
of Baylor and Maekar.
Yeah, so it should pass to the next brother, and then it would pass to Valar after that, I believe. I think.
I'm trying to think back to season 1 or 2 of House of the Dragon to see like how that all went down.
Viserys was named, but there wasn't a clear. I'd have to go back. I'm fuzzy on that. What is sticking out to me is the fact that Viserys made Rhaenyra the heir,
too.
Right?
Yeah, because they don't operate like. The only thing I can compare it to is like England with the kings and queens, right? Like it'll bounce back and forth, like whatever the firstborn is, whether it's a male or female, it'll be a king or a queen or whatever. Like it passes on that way. But I feel like in this world, it's just the male descendants. That's why it was a whole big thing about Viserys naming Rhaenyra as his heir.
I'm not gonna lie, Viserys is kind of like Catelyn Stark. Some of his decisions caused more mayhem than needed. For example, I know it was cringe that he didn't want to marry the girl over in the thing, but like that probably would have solved a lot of the issues, right? Because he ends up marrying Alicent. He could have just waited for that girl to be of age, and just be like, just don't think about it. I have to unite this. I mean,
I'm 80 and you're like
was he 80
now,
at that
right?
point? No, he wasn't 80.
I don't know. He
was the younger version.
Nasty, bro. Nasty.
But if you think about it, Alicent was also like 16 or something like that.
Young.
So it was one of those things where like, this is the show that they exist within. He caused all of the issues that occurred after that.
But also, like, could he not have just like named Rhaenyra heir?
He could have just done that.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he? And then they just kind of
did, like on his deathbed.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah. Indecision, man. Indecision. You got to just make a decision and stick to it. It's it's better to make a decision and it be wrong than to not make a decision at all. So, anyways, that's where we leave off. Interested to see what happens next episode. I think there's only 2 more in this season. There's only 7.
That sounds correct. Let's see. Pretty sure it's 7.
Can hear the Apple reviews. Do your research, guys. The dead air between you guys researching. That's how I sound to me. That's how all these people sound to me. These little beta.
Is there only
reviewers.
6?
I'm gonna start marketing the show with our bad reviews.
You should.
We should. Brought to you by, Story Archives, the worst show on Apple Podcasts. These 2 mega nuts
This was the
reviewing
penultimate
keep
episode.
politics off the show. Huh?
This was the penultimate episode. There's one more episode left.
Only one more?
Yeah, 6 episodes. I don't know why 7 sounded correct to me. Yeah.
7 would have been nice. 6 feels like...
I mean, 6 feels short, but also every episode here is short. This is like...
Are we getting House of the Dragons in the summer or next year? We get it in the summer this year,
I
right?
think we're officially now going to be on every year we get something from the Game of Thrones universe kind of cycle.
I think House of the Dragon is what's next.
I think it's next year.
No, but we get it in the summer this year. Hold on. House of the Dragon release date. Yeah, 26.
Okay, all right.
And since the reviewers hate the show so much, this is the last series we're doing until summer 26. So enjoy our podcast, guys.
There's a lot of great episodes we've already done. You can listen to them all.
You can listen to them all, and we'll see you in the summer. Until next time, peace. Just kidding. I don't know what we're gonna do next after this show ends. I thought we had a 2-week buffer. But I'm usually the programming guy. So.
I know. I don't know what you want to cover. I mean, I've been watching. I guess this is the post show now. We're kind of getting into.
Yeah.
I've been watching. I haven't been enjoying it as much as the first season, but Hijack.
How many modes of transportation are you gonna get stuck in?
Well, It's funny because I think when you and I watched the first season. And we podcast on it. I think we were saying, "What's next? A train?" And well, it's a train. But I'm more okay with the mode in which he becomes on this hijacked train. I don't know if you've watched any of it, so I'm not really gonna say much of anything.
Dude,
but there's a lot about it that I just don't like. There's a lot of shit that happens between seasons that you just don't know about, and you like get dripped it throughout the season. You're like, what?
I love talking about shows and films, but it's hard to find shows that have enough meat on the bone to talk about for 30, 40 minutes at a time. That's why, if you're catching this Night of Seven Kingdoms series, I think it's been an exciting podcast, like a fun podcast to listen to. And let's be honest, most people are not watching us on screen when they do this. So they're doing something else. They're on for a walk.
Yep.
They're doing stuff around the house. That's how I consume my content for the most part. So I think it's a fun 30 to 40 minutes, not taking itself too seriously. But we're actually talking about the show. We're not really going off into crazy rabbit holes that have nothing to do with the show because there's enough meat in the bones for it. That's why the For All Mankind stuff is kind of fun. That's why Foundation is kind of easy to talk about. But the moment you start getting into shows that don't have a lot of meat in the bone, that's when we got to do like shorter series. That's when you see me do a solo episode on Beef. That's when you see me do a solo episode on whatever the hell else I've done a solo episode on. But
some pirate
Masters,
show.
like you saw a struggle. Like a lot of people liked our Masters of the Air coverage, but that was difficult to cover.
That was the hardest show we've done, by the way.
Because we were trying to also be like, we're history, not nerds, but we're fans of history, and we really appreciate veterans, that gave their lives. So we didn't want to be flippant about covering that show. We wanted to be not get crap wrong, not say anything too crazy outlandish during that series, because these are true stories for the most part. Maybe a little bit of dramatization, but for the most part, these are events that occurred. So talking about real things happening is a little bit tougher. But let's think about some other shows. Monarch Legacy of Monsters sucked. So that one was just...
Season 2's coming out too, by the way, which I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just not.
I didn't enjoy Season 1. I
haven't even finished Invasion Season 3 yet. I've got like 3 episodes into that.
There was episodes I liked of Monarch. Yeah. Invasion Season 1 was peak amazing.
It was good. Yeah.
Season 2 was
bomb.
Goodness gracious. Who did they let in the writer's room, bro? Like, I don't even know. It's just who invited them. But the direction they went in with that was crazy. It's like the biggest fumble. It's like you're up by 30 in the fourth quarter and you just like fumble that hard. It's like, it's almost harder to F up that bad than it is to just do anything that's competent. But
yeah.
But then again, Apple has a lot of examples like that. Like Mosquito Coast Season 1 was fire. And then I think Season 2 kind of like, it was a little bit whatever. I haven't watched Drops of God Season 1 is the best show I've watched on Apple TV.
Have you watched any of Season 2?
No, I haven't, because I just found out it was out yesterday. Somehow me, the biggest fan of Drops of God, nobody has even heard of Drops of God besides me talking about it, I think. It was adapted from a manga, I believe. Manga, if you want to be religious about it. But that show is insanely terrific, Season 1, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Season 2 is going to be good. I'll let you guys know. Maybe we should cover it, but I think more than likely I'll probably do a beginning and end type thing for it. So, not sure. Fallout Season 2 came out. I didn't hear much about that in the radio waves. I think we only had one person ask us about it. There is a few people who are going through our Peaky Blinders coverage right now. We're getting like comments on there. We will not be putting it on YouTube, I think, because we had some sort of copyright issues with that on YouTube. So that you'll have to catch on Spotify and subscribe over there. We do have the Peaky Blinders movie coming out in a few weeks, I think.
Yeah, The Immortal Man. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
I've started a new hobby. I got a movie membership at Cinemark, and every Tuesday, regardless of the membership, every Tuesday it's Discount Tuesdays. So I go watch a movie every Tuesday for $6, and I've been doing that now for like 3 weeks, and it's great. And I'll get a free movie once a month. I'm set. So I last week I watched Dracula. The week before that, there wasn't really much there. I watched the Melania movie, and then the week before that, I watched the 28 Years Later.
So you're on a streak,
the Bone
man.
Temple. Yeah, so I'm going tomorrow. I might go watch.
Let's look at the
Mercy
movies.
tomorrow.
Let's pick Zach's movie for him. What's showing in theaters?
Also, speaking of Apple shows. Apple bought, they acquired all of the intellectual property rights for Severance.
Huh? What?
They bought all of the intellectual property rights for Severance.
Do they not have them already? So
I don't think they had them already. So yeah, so I don't know if that means what Ben Stiller's going to lose any creative freedom on the show or not. But that was a good one too. That one's a nice one that you can talk about. So I'm looking forward to.
Is that Mads Mikkelsen or is that Jason Statham? It's Jason Statham.
Yeah,
Jason Statham doesn't make a bad movie, to be honest with you.
That was the other one. I was between Mercy and then the Jason Statham movie.
I would say, have you watched Marty Supreme yet or no?
No, I was gonna watch it, but it's not in the theater I like to go to. There's another one.
What about Hamnet?
No, Hamnet. No, I've not seen Hamnet. There was another movie that just came out. Let me see. Cinemark movies.
Oh, go watch that Crime 101 movie. Oh, with Hemsworth.
For that.
That movie I want to watch that movie badly. The Crime 101, stupid name for the movie, in my opinion, but Crime 101. Talk about original name for a movie.
It seems interesting.
It looks really good. It looks really good.
I've heard a bit about the Wuthering Heights movie recently. I haven't looked into
that.
That
one's like softcore porn, from what I've heard.
I haven't seen any trailer for it.
Girls are lining up to watch Jacob Elordi
of course.
do things to Margot Robbie.
It just keeps popping up everywhere. I heard what Margot Robbie said. There was some scenes that was way more shocking than some bathtub scenes she did.
Really?
Yeah. But Shelter looks great. I'll probably go watch either Shelter or Mercy. I'm between those two.
What is Mercy?
Mercy has what's his name in it? Chris Pratt in it, and Rebecca Ferguson.
Why have I not heard of this? What is this?
Set in the near future when capital crime has increased, Mercy follows a detective, Chris Pratt, who is accused of a violent crime and is forced to prove his innocence.
So, Minority Report? Are you serious? Is this just Minority Report?
I guess.
He has 60 minutes to prove his... Interesting. I don't know, pal. It seems like we're in an in-between phase. There was a Korean movie that came out that got rave reviews, but I don't think it's in theaters anymore.
It's not up here, if it is.
I think was it Bong Joon-ho? Who made that movie? Parasite? Who made the Korean? Oh, no, it's from the maker of Old Boy, I think. Old Boy director. Old Boy. Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook. No Other Choice. That got great reviews. Yeah, there's a lot. I finished watching Marty Supreme today.
How was it?
Good enough to watch. It's kind of like... It's like Uncut Gems Ping Pong Edition.
Okay.
Have you seen Uncut Gems?
No.
Go watch it, but don't watch it if you want to unwind. I'm gonna tell a story.
Okay.
It's kind of dark humor in the story. So my grandmother has a stroke, and it's the day I saved her life. Okay. And I don't know if I've ever told the story on the pod before, but I got home and I heard her, calling for help. And I found her, and I pretty much did what I had to do, and called 911, and they got there in time and saved her life, and she lived for a few more years after that. And I always held it over her head. I said, I saved your life. I saved your life that day. Messing with my grandma in the way I only can. But that night, you could imagine I'm on an adrenaline thing all day of knowing, because when you're in that moment and someone is dying in front of you, and she didn't just have a stroke, she had like 2 aneurysms and a stroke in that moment.
Jeez.
So it was like really graphic what was going on. You either freeze or you move into action. I did very much, thankfully, moved into action in that situation. But it's hard to come down from it, because the whole time you're thinking to yourself, like, I just, this moment could have been horrible. Like, this could have been like the last moment, right? And it's funny how God works, that I got home that day. I'll go into it another day, but I got home at like an opportune time, like just at the moment. It must have just happened moments before I opened that door. And anyways, at night, I'm like, I gotta decompress, man. This has been a hell of a day. My grandma's good. She's stable in the hospital. So I'm like, I'm gonna put on a movie. I gotta chill. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while. So I say, I'm gonna watch Uncut Gems. Bro, I put Uncut Gems to relax after my grandmother had a stroke and nearly died. I thought they were gonna have to save me that night. Okay, I'm sitting on that couch watching Uncut Gems, and my heart is going. That movie is nonstop anxiety the entire time, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
Marty Supreme is not that level of anxiety, but if you want to watch it, go buy Uncut Gems tonight and just watch the first 20 minutes. You'll turn it off and say, I gotta watch this shit in the morning, because you don't watch Uncut Gems before you go to bed. Put it that way. It is nonstop. So kudos to the Safdie brothers. They are masters at their craft in terms of making you feel something, for sure. And Marty Supreme makes you feel something, for sure. I don't want to give away too much, because this is not the Marty Supreme podcast, but it's good. Do I think Chalamet should win an Oscar for it? No, I don't. I think he's a really good actor. I think what The Rock did in The Smashing Machine is a little bit more, takes me a little bit more over the edge in terms of my Oscar vote, so to speak. But I do think Chalamet has an ability to make you forget that he's Chalamet, and to make you forget that he's an A-list. No, I'm not joking around. Every good actor, for the most part,
I get that. I felt that way watching Dune.
You were calling him Paul Atreides in your head. As long as you're calling that person in your head by the name of them in the movie, and not saying, "Oh, there's Brad Pitt in an F1 car." And by the way, I think Brad Pitt's a good actor. I was just using that as an example. As long as they're taking you to that place, you really do see him as Marty Mauser in Marty Supreme. So he does take you there. And he doesn't even need to do a New York accent to do so, which at first bothered me a little bit, but because he doesn't talk like he's from 1952 in the movie. And but nonetheless, he still makes you believe that he's Marty Mauser. And overall, I thought it was a good film. It was exciting, Not my favorite, but not my favorite of the last year, but very good.
Well, I will probably watch Uncut Gems later.
Watch it tonight.
Week.
Just watch it tonight. Watch it tonight and text me.
I've got work to do. I'll watch. How about this? I'll watch it Wednesday night, because I'm going to the movies tomorrow night. I'll watch it Wednesday night and let you know if I made it through it. I'm much better at watching stressful movies than you are.
No, I can watch stressful movies. That just wasn't the day.
Well, I can imagine that.
If I watch stressful movies for demonic horror movies.
Well, I mean, you didn't even want to watch like 28 Years Later.
Huh?
You didn't even want to watch 28 Years Later at night. I told you I was watching that shit late at night. You were like, what?
I mean, Listen,
it
man.
ain't that demonic. I mean, it's just zombies.
No,
and shit.
I don't remember saying that. For me,
Yeah.
my line is just really freaky movies at night. I don't want to watch something horrifying at night.
I think
And
it's fun because like that's the like you're more vulnerable that late at night. So it's like it sucks you in. It gets your heart pumping, gets the
Nothing like-
adrenaline going a little
nothing
bit.
like feeling like there's a slight bigger chance of getting murdered when you're watching something to make
Bro,
you
I
really
pass
live
out.
on the edge.
I pass out after watching like horror movies. Not
Yeah,
like
but
a
you're
stupid
borderline
way, but, like,
sociopathic. So
I
there's
know. So
there's,
it
there's
makes it. It's like a lullaby, right?
you
Like,
might really resonate with Marty Mouser. You know, there's
think?
there's some
Okay.
tendencies there.
I will
Sure,
see.
pal.
I'll see if it goes on sale. I'll probably buy it. If I watch anything tonight, though, it's going to be Mission Impossible 3 because I've just watched
Which
one
one?
and 2.
Oh, is that the one in Dubai? That one's fantastic.
I don't know. I literally just rewatched 1 and 2. I watched 1 Saturday night, 2 Sunday night. Today's Monday, so I might watch the third one. It's been so long since I've
Ghost
seen them.
Protocol is the one that is insane.
I've not seen the newest like 3. So
4 and
I'm
5,
looking
I think,
forward to get up to those.
4 and 5 are the peak.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the last one.
Huh. Well, I'm playing catch up, rewatching those. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about the last one, but anyways, I think that about does it, pal.
I think so. I don't have anything else to talk about. So, what I can talk about is the very lovely shape of that subscribe button on the YouTube page. So hit that button, pound it a few times, share the channel with your friends and family. You got different devices. You got to subscribe with different accounts and all that stuff. Mario's
Dude,
face, the absolute disgust.
It is a
of-
family-friendly podcast, bro. Let me tell
Is
people
it?
to pound our
This is
subscribe
bro.
button.
We are.
I'm just saying,
covering-
don't tell people to
a Night of
pound
the
our
Seven
subscribe button.
Kingdoms.
It's crazy.
I mean, I can't help your minds in the gutter, bro. But
Yo.
anyways, you can find our podcasts on Apple and Spotify podcasts as well. And that'll about do it. We will catch you in the next episode, the finale episode. Crazy to say that.
Yeah,
Of A
it's
Night
wild.
of the Seven Kingdoms.
It's wild. All right. Till next time, y'all. Leave some comments. Let us know how you like the episode. Send your condolences to Baylor and his family. Leave them in the comments. Tell us what you would say to the Targaryen family. They're gonna need the support this week. So, till next time. Peace.
Peace.